Hey, Mr. D-Man, what's up?
Odors float around us. Unlike air fresheners, only new Lysol.
Same here, man. Got a local comic convention coming up on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and this isn't exactly a commission that was asked for, but there's going to be someone there who kind of asked me if I would draw their character one of these days, and I kind of want to have it done just to kind of surprise them when I see them there. Kind of feel like I might have churned up a little bit of microscopic controversy with my video today on Savage Dragon and the politics, and somebody didn't like me referring to Chicago as a shithole. I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. But there's more comments on that video than have been on almost any others. It's kind of weird. Got some people talking, that's for sure. I saw your comment that said that. I mean, it made me feel a little bit better. I mean, yeah, they are. People are soft as cotton, man. And it's not like the people. It's the policies that are allowing horrific crime. I mean, like, how many shootings happen on a daily basis there? Like, I'm not trying to insult the people. It's just the people in charge that are letting it just go downhill. No, this one I didn't. I didn't tell anybody I was going live. I just sat down to draw, and I was like, well, why not just turn it on, just 'cause. Um, there are some times when I'm like I did last time when I had that friend of mine on, where we're gonna kind of like announce it and things like that. But this one I did not. I just sat down and started drawing. I'm like, oh, let's just do this. I saw some headline that there was a scene in the movie that made people walk out of it. What, and then I tried to follow, like, read an article, but I was on my phone, and there was some like the site that it took me to just kept having pop-ups after pop-ups, and I couldn't actually get to the meat of the story. Was it some kind of scene about a child that they have, but the kid's destined to be killed? Do you know anything about that? Mr. J Ultra, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? So is that going to happen in the movie? The baby killing, or is that just like I said, I didn't get the whole story. Like I thought I read that that's what's supposed to happen to the baby character in the comics, but did they actually do that in the movie? Because if so, I might need to go watch it. Not that I want to watch a baby die, but see what kind of balls they got. Now, now they want to be comic accurate, right? I heard that Amber Heard is still in it, but this like her role got super cut down because everyone hates her. Chuck Lee, hey, what's going on? But yeah, I heard that her roles, like they had to have her in it, or not had to, but they'd already filmed so much, but they probably were editing it down just to minimize it so as not to make everyone hate the movie. Yeah, that was crazy. I liked watching Johnny Depp be on the stand and just kind of own the audience. And that prosecutor kept trying to like corner him. I'm sure Johnny Depp, he's no angel, right? But I'm sure he's got plenty of things in his life that are not awesome. But it seemed like he was getting kind of screwed over, and it seems like he came out on top. Maybe Amber Heard will just have to go do adult films now, and that's the only way she'll get money. I mean, for real, if she I don't know why, or I don't know the exact details of everything, but if there was like she was faking abuse that never happened, I tend to get pretty fired up over that. Like, I couldn't imagine a worse fate for a guy. I mean, there's plenty of horrible things for everybody, but when you see these stories on the news where like so and so prisoner was released from jail after 20 years after DNA evidence proved him innocent. Can you imagine being accused of something and you absolutely did not do it, but somehow a judge and a jury found you guilty and put you in prison for 20 years and you never did it? And then at least you finally get out. Like, I couldn't think of anything worse in my life to know that I'm in jail for something I absolutely did not do. But somehow it was proved beyond a reasonable doubt that nope, you did this. And you know that it was all based on hearsay or whatever. If DNA evidence proved you didn't do it, then what proof did they justify to put someone in jail? You should have never married her in the first place. He was probably coked out, and she was probably willing to do dirty, dirty things to him, and he wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I saw that about Fables, and then I also saw that DC Comics put out a press release saying, that is absolutely not the case. That is our property, and we will do everything in the law to protect our copyright. So I'm kind of curious as to how that's going to shake out, but that was a very interesting, odd scenario. 10K, hon, ran off to another state. I didn't hear about any of that. I mean, 10K is not really that much money because it's enough to get you in trouble if you get caught again, but it's not enough to it's not like you can embezzle 10 million. What's the point of doing that? Yeah, I don't know how awesome DC Comics is doing these days either. It doesn't seem like, I don't know. Yeah, can I borrow a 10K, right? I can't help but think that James Gunn being in charge of the DC movies is going to be way too little too late. I like James Gunn. I like what he's done, but I just think comic book movies are kind of in their twilight right now, and I don't think the world is ready for a big resurgence of DC Comics and a restart of their characters in the movies because I don't think anyone gives a shit. Yeah, I wish Jim Lee would just go back and do something else. I'm so sick. I'm just not a DC Comics fan. I like Batman, I like Superman, but I like the characters, not necessarily any of the comics. And I don't know. I just want to see Jim Lee draw something else other than Batman or some DC Comics stuff. I've legitimately enjoyed many of the superhero movies. I thought the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, starting with Iron Man, ending with Endgame, that was a run of movies that gave me quite a bit of joy while they were good. But even I'm kind of getting sick of it. I'm burned out on superhero movies. I'm absolutely done with Star Wars. It's over. It's done. Star Wars is done. You everyone remember when Pixar used to be a thing? Like every movie Pixar would put out back in the day was like an event to like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do next? Now they put out 2 a year, and who cares? I don't care one bit. It's like I went and saw Oppenheimer, and it's a very slow burn movie. You better be ready to sit on your ass for 3 hours and listen to people talk. But I enjoyed the hell out of it. And then they showed a trailer for like a horror movie that I think just came out this weekend, I think. That I was like super interested in because it looked different. Like, oh my God, here's something that looks different, suspenseful, kind of a low budget. It's not a big explosive superhero destruction fest. I'm done. I've had enough. I want Tarantino to keep making films. Everything he makes is good. Yeah, Dread that's a good example. Something different. I'm personally super excited, more than I can begin to express, for the new Dune. I might have said that before, but sci-fi, a different sci-fi than Star Wars or something like that. Dune, I'm super excited for. I like the Batman. I think that was a very, very good effort. Logan was great. Westerns. I mean, hell, yeah. I was just like, you know what? I want to watch Tombstone. Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell. Yeah. Never heard of a woman that didn't like Harrison Ford and Johnny Depp. Right. Right, Mr. J Ultra? Everyone's a little bit gay, it just depends on who it is, right? I can't say that I'm that way about Johnny Depp, but Brad Pitt's my gay crush. I like that. I like that guy's work and his handsomeness. Right? Yeah, Yeah, Mr. D Man. That line from Tropic Thunder. He's like everyone's a little. It's Hollywood. Everyone's a little gay. About everything Robert Downey Jr. said in that movie was straight gold. Yeah, give him a can of Apple's ass water. That'll bring him around. It's a cure-all. Henry Cavill, like for real. Yeah, my roommate's it's a girl, and we're constantly asking each other if so and so is hot. We'll be watching a movie. I'll be like, "Is that dude hot?" She'll be like, yeah, I guess," or "Oh, totally." She's like, "He'd get it," and then she'll see some hot girl on TV, and she'll ask me. She's like, "Could she get it? Could she get it?" I'm like, pfft. And for me, almost every time it's of course. Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's peak Harrison Ford right there, wasn't it? I've yet to run into a woman that did not like Magic Mike. They're like, "Oh, Channing Tatum." Yeah, I think anybody that tries to publish a Fable story without DC's permission is just looking to get their asses sued. I would just stay way far away from that. Isn't Superman, and at least in some iteration, supposed to come into the public domain very soon? I've read the first several collections of Fables, but it's been several years because my brother was collecting them, and so I just read his. But then for some reason he got bored with them. I remember thinking the first collection. I'd remember if somebody said it, I'd remember the name of the storyline, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I remember the first storyline collection being like okay, but then the one immediately after that, and then everyone subsequently that I read was like, holy crap, this is amazingly good. What was the name of that first storyline? If I'm even remembering it correctly. Yeah, you're probably right, Mr. D-Man. I don't know what they're going to do to keep going, but it doesn't seem like anyone's interested. And I firmly believe that there's an audience there willing to pay. When you see these Kickstarters that get going on and make, some random guy makes $70,000 on a Kickstarter or something like that, I think there's an audience willing to pay. They're just not willing to pay the crap that they're putting out anymore, and they don't know what to do. Mr. J Ultra, I recognize that name, but I don't know if I know that situation or I'm just not remembering it. What was the situation with that? But yeah, Mr. D-Man, that's what I'm saying. There people are willing to spend some money. You just got to have a thing that people want. They will hook you up. I mean, hell, even I'm on a microscopic version of that. I mean, a few people are willing to buy my silly little fan comic, and I'm a nobody. So, you know, there's an audience out there willing to spend money. Oh, right, Mr. J. Okay, I remember the Ghost Rider story about how there was somebody who created him, but he wasn't getting appropriate like recognition or compensation, and that's pretty fucked up. You know, I mean, I can understand, I guess, from a corporate point of view, ish, like if that's how the deal was worked out. Technically, they're correct, but God, when you guys are making that much money and you're making a boatload of cash off a creation somebody did, and they should hook them up. Oh, right. Oh, man, you're making me hate Marvel. Or at least the guys are in charge at the time. I don't know who that is anymore. That is infuriating. Yeah, when there's somebody out there who made a character and they're just making bank off it, hook the guy up. If for nothing else, it goes a big way for, like, yeah, it goes goodwill. It makes the fans feel like, you know, they're with the right place. They're with a good company that they can stand behind. And like, you know what? They didn't have to technically, maybe, but you should ethically. Yeah, now I'm kind of pissed off at that. I have no idea what the Spider-Man Lotus is, but I need to, just based on Mr. D-Man's description there, it's 2 hours of Peter Parker being a whiny edgelord. Now I gotta go see it, see if I can make fun of it. Yeah, I'd never heard of that, Mr. D-Man. I don't know what that is. Well, it sounds horrible, and it sounds like something I need to go check out. But it was a fan film, and they made $125,000 to make it. Oh, jeez. Well, these days I'm always so cautious to be careful to who I believe. Not talking about you, Mister D-Man, but the word racist gets kicked around so much anymore. It's like, yeah, I gotta see where that comes from. The racist Spider-Man movie. Well, thanks. I don't know how you say it. Xarier 39, Xarier. I appreciate. Thank you. I love inking, but I'm not very good at it. I mean, when compared to what I want it to look like and the professional inkers, like I just followed. I ran across inker. His name's Livesay. I guess he's a kind of one of those old school image inkers that's been around for a while, and I ran across his page and I watched him doing some like cross hatching with the Hunt 102 like this, and he was just holding it like straight up and down and just doing these like mechanical flicks and getting these perfect, flawless, crisp, sharp lines, and I was just like, holy shit. God, I wish I could. I gotta get that snap down like they do. Peter curb stomping like American history. Oh my god, I can't wait to go see this thing now. Oh, dude, you have sold me. That American History X is one of my favorite movies ever. That was the one movie in my life where as soon as I got done watching it, I'd rented it on like VHS 1,000 years ago, and that's what you could do. As soon as I was done, I just started it back over and I just watched it a second time. I was like, holy shit, Edward Norton is real, like legit. And man, that was a brutal movie. A comics accurate Mary Jane, so was she like super incredibly hot as hell? Because I mean, Kirsten Dunst is okay, and I think what's her name, Zendaya, she's hot as hell, but she's not comic accurate Mary Jane. You know, I like the what's the actor? Tom Holland. I like the first one as like himself, like his starting movie. I felt like it was a really good portrayal of Peter Parker. I like it. The second one was fine, but I think I've only ever seen it twice, where I've seen the first one several times. And I like the last one. I'm 100% on board with them showing all the other Spider-Man. Like I only ever saw the Andrew Garfield, the first one time. I never bothered with the second. But I liked him in that a lot. I'm like, okay, this guy actually has charm and charisma. He's got to be in the hands of the right director, and it'll work. So I was on board with them. I never was a huge fan of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. Like I thought they were fine, but sometimes you see an actor portray a character, and you're like, that's him. Like the first time I saw Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, like when he was in that cage scene, and they're like, he's fighting, and they punched fist, and they went clank, and then it cut to Hugh Jackman standing up with that growl on his face. I'm like, oh my god, that's Wolverine. It's him. I never thought that about Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man. But I thought they were fine, but yeah. It's an amazing brown friend. Oh, thanks. With the you like my more flowy lines and then go back over them. Yeah, I'm trying to get a. I don't know. I have a look in my head of how I kind of want them to be, and you don't always capture it the first time. So I like these ink brushes. Whether I'm doing regular brush or these felt tip ones, you can kind of go thin to thick. I keep having to jump around because it throws down the ink wet, and then if I'm not careful, you put your hand in it and then you smudge it around, and this is kind of an informal commission for somebody. You know, I've got this local, like, it's like a hobby shop, music store, knick-knacky store, and they got a big comic section, and I went digging through it, and I came home with several comics. I paid way more than I should have, but I grabbed this for no other reason. It's one of the Alan Moore Supreme stories, and I've only ever read one of them, and I read this, and it's really good. It's so interesting how good Alan Moore is and how he takes these characters and just makes these ridiculous bullshit characters from Liefeld just be amazing. And it's a shame that Liefeld has to shit on the cover with that. I grabbed Death's Head, #1, from whenever, 90s. You can tell by the version of the X-Men that are in there. Picked up this X Factor, which I'm interested to talk about because this is where Cyclops lets his son get sacrificed to go into the future, who eventually becomes Cable. And then I picked up the Deadly Duo, issue 1. I never had this. Yeah, that Batman Gargoyle of Gotham, the artwork looked amazing. I was thinking of picking it up, but I also get to thinking how many different Batman stories can you tell? Yeah, how prominent is that Liefeld signature? He's gonna like put it on there as big as he humanly possibly can with that Batman character. It's so stupid. It takes him, does it take him 10 minutes to pencil these things? It's no good. And then I picked up a couple issues of Brigade and Youngblood Strike File, all for like $1. They're all going to get looked at. I'm just like, oh man, these are all books from the era that I was collecting comics in but never picked up. Yeah, and in this book, if you're talking about it's an actual character, I mean, look, one of these poor Extreme Studios artists had to draw a dog. Oh, this signature, yeah. That's a dog, sort of. But as crappy as the art is, the story was actually really interesting. And then he does this awesome thing that Alan Moore likes to do, where they'll tell a modern story and then cut back to and do an old school kind of, like, here's the characters in the past, so they draw it as a comic from, like, I don't know, the 50s or something. Like, Alan Moore is for real. This is an incredibly entertaining book, and I'm looking forward to talking about that one. Oh my gosh, you can't wait for Liefeld to draw an LGBT. You know, you could almost just call a lot of his characters, you know, guys that think they're girls or girls that think they're guys. He doesn't draw anatomy very well. I would absolutely pet that dog. I pet that dog. Don't even mention Liefeld. You draw a castle in perspective. Yeah, that'll throw you off. Yeah, Liefeld wouldn't even draw it. He'd just draw like a line straight down and a line at an angle and be like, it's a corner of like a wall, and then just let the colorist figure it out. You know what? I like Shatterstar. The original version of him. He might have had like a ridiculous costume, but I like that like baggy white shirt, and I like that everything was white and that double sword. I legitimately like that design, and I've got Shatterstar stories I would tell if I was given the opportunity, which I never will. Shatterstar. They certainly turned him gay, him and Richter, right? Isn't that what happened in the comics? And Liefeld did not like that. He's like, he's absolutely not that. Like, well, you don't own them anymore, Liefeld, so they can do whatever they want with them. You know what? I mean, I am doing a series of characters that I don't own anyway, so maybe I should approach Marvel and be like, hey, I'm a nobody, but I've got a Shatterstar idea. I'm sure they'd be willing to just let me just go nuts with it. And the head boxing gear, right? He puts it on everybody. I could do a Shatterstar series. I'd have a character you just kind of change the design enough so you kind of know that it's him, but just change the name and the design just enough, and then we'll crowdfund it and call it Shatter Balls or something like that. Yeah. Right? Hell, you know what? I'd be happy if, I mean, it'll never happen. I'm not skilled enough. But if I was given the opportunity to do something for a big company, I'd be more interested in like the recognition that my name would get, and just enough so I could go off and do my own thing and just make a living doing my own shit. You know, you go do something for the big guys just to get a paycheck and some names and eyes looking at you. I mean, I would be pissed off if I created something that then they just ran wild with and I didn't get any piece of. Yeah, there's a lot of indie artists I see that are really, really good, and at bare minimum should be doing something for bigger companies in a way. But so many of the guys working for the big companies, it all looks the same. I have this theory. I mean, everyone knows that artist Stuart Immonen. That was God. He did all kinds of stuff. He doesn't really draw anymore, but I feel like he created a style that became really popular, and then so many artists are copying him. It's kind of like a Jim Lee situation where Jim Lee was there and then everyone copied him. I feel like Stuart Immonen's style became like the default, like draw like him. And so many guys at Marvel just have that style. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that or thought of that before, but... And as much as we shit on Liefeld, you know, and his crappy art, but I want somebody like him to come along who has just something so radically different that they do something interesting and shake up the artistic world of comics again, you know? Remember when all those artists, like all the Image guys, were just kind of out there at the same time, and we were all just like in awe of them in a way? Why isn't that happening anymore? Somebody needs to come along and do something just so different. Just shake us out of our apathy. Make us love it again. Oh yeah, they totally wasted X-Force. I mean, I was like, oh, they're gonna do Shatterstar. Oh, he's dead. Oh, okay. Yeah. All for a gag. And Cable was kind of fine. I like Josh Brolin. He's always, you know, you can always count on him to be awesome, but... Do we think Deadpool 3 is going to be worthwhile? I'm kind of worried that they're going to kind of invalidate, I mean, just bringing Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. Don't get me wrong, I like him, and we all wanted to see Deadpool and Wolverine team up, but... And I assume it's some multiverse bullshit, but... I don't know. I'm worried that it's going to kind of ruin the awesomeness of Logan. Oh yeah, I'm done with the multiverse stuff too. It was interesting for a minute. I don't know. I kind of don't care anymore. I can't remember. I think I said this on my last live stream. I'm going to say something blasphemous. I watched The Flash, and I didn't hate it, but my expectations were garbage dumpster low. So I was just expecting it to be trash, and parts of it certainly were kind of not awesome, but I was like, oh, all right. And because I don't know anything about The Flash, I don't read DC Comics, I don't have any, like, expectations for the character, so I wasn't really able to be disappointed from a, you know, respect the source material kind of world, but, like, I get that it wasn't good, but I kind of didn't mind it. Ezra Miller. I mean, yeah, Ezra Miller, all the stuff about him is super, like, if everything they're saying about him is true, like, what a piece of garbage human being, if all that stuff is accurate. And, yeah, the Marvels, like, we all know that's going to fail, right? It might make $300 or $400 million, but they want it to make $1 billion, and I just... Because they've got those other characters. What's her name from WandaVision? The Rambo chick. And then that other girl from Ms. Marvel, which I didn't even bother with that crap. So, and for Marvel, it's too late right now. What are they going to do? What can you do at this point? You filmed it. There's only so much material you can edit around and pretend isn't horrible. So how many Marvel movies in a row is that going to be just an absolute bomb? I never even bothered. I got 20 minutes into Ant-Man 3 and turned it off. But I was a fan of the Marvel movies for sure, but they're done. Yeah, that Ezra Miller guy, She-Hulk twerking. Yeah, that was a big disappointment, the whole thing. Just Marvel can't catch a break because they keep making garbage and people are not showing up. Like, who watched Secret Invasion? I'm going to assume nobody because it's the lowest rated Disney Plus Marvel show ever. And it's Sam Jackson. Like, you'd think people would show up for that, but no one gave a shit. I thought the She-Hulk CGI model was accurate enough and attractive enough. But yeah, that show was not awesome. Excuse me. Yeah, I actually liked the episode with Daredevil, but that was mainly because it carried the awesomeness of the Daredevil show, and um, I didn't mind what they did with them honestly, but I don't know. You kind of just wish you hope that the new Daredevil Born Again thing is going to be any good, but I just don't know how it could. Um, it was asked if I'm using any reference. I actually am. I could show you as long as people don't mind seeing a little bit of nudity. Well, it's kind of. She's covered. That's the reference right there that I'm using. Trying to get the hands and everything and the face, and I don't know. I just like the pose. And the photo is actually like upside down. Excuse me. And I like that, but I can't decide if I want the drawing to be right side up or upside down. But that's the reference that I'm using. And that's the way the photo was presented, but that's what I'm using. Nice, right? There's many good things Instagram provides, and they provide plenty of like hot fitness influencers that you would call them, that will post up all kinds of great pictures. I'm like, oh, thank you. I am 7. Well, I'll probably have the cops at my door soon enough then. Yeah, I assume so. If that's that person is being honest, I'm like, oh well. As far as I know, youngest viewer. At 10 o'clock at night, watching my random channel. Well, 10 o'clock my time. I agree. We need to make comics cool again. But what does that entail? What makes comics cool? I mean, I don't even know if I could answer that, you know. I just like what I like, but how do we. They need to be, yeah, I mean, just in general, I think it would be more interesting if, like, a younger generation would just want to read a comic book. But when they got, like, video games and social media and all kinds of nonsense just at the tip of their fingers on a cell phone, I kind of understand why young people don't want to, like, hey, hand me this. I want to read this stupid thing. Why would I care, you know? Um, like for me as a kid, I'm like, oh my gosh. Once I discovered them, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I like stories. I like awesome heroes. God, badass. Well, are you talking badass just in general or badass in terms of comics? Because we're talking comics. Badass for me starts with the art. And I think, you know, everyone's got their different opinion on what should be most important in a comic, but I think it has to start with good artwork because that's the thing that makes you look and see it visually often, not always, but often. And then you want to open it up and read it and just be legitimately interested in the story and go, oh, I want to know what's going to happen next. But then I see the things my 8-year-old is interested in, this nonsense he watches on YouTube with this. He's going around yelling skibbity. He's like, Daddy, skibbity, look at this skibbity thing. I'm like, what in the hell is this? Yeah, badass, I mean, art, but, God, now you got me thinking. The first thing that comes to mind when I hear the word badass, I guess exciting. Exciting is what I would associate with badass. You know, I don't look at I don't know. I don't look at Barbie, the movie, and go, oh, that looks badass. You know, I look at Oppenheimer, that kind of looked badass. I've, not to go on a different subject, but it was mentioned here I could send this to the reference model. I've actually done that once or twice, not for this one specifically, but these, I'm sure girls, women that have social media accounts where they put out their physical bodies, they get 10,000 messages from creepy guys every day, and to the point where I think they just stop looking. I've sent a few sketches I've done, and the only one that responded was just actually a couple of days ago. If I can't remember if I was doing this. Um, I was using this image as reference, and I sent the drawing to that girl, and she responded. And I asked her if she minded if I used any of her photos as reference, and she's like, "No, please keep going. I like it. Thank you." So that girl responded, but she's not extremely popular. I'm sure she'll get to the point where she needs to start ignoring creepy messages. But I've done that once or twice, and I think that the chance that any of these, people that would see it are very unlikely. I mean, I might as well try it just to see. Yeah, a lot of badass artists on Instagram. Yeah, there are. No doubt about that. And the ones that I get excited about are the ones who actually draw comic books, or at least the ones that call themselves comic book artists and draw comics. I know I've talked about this before. This is a subject that we've visited on. But there's so many guys on Instagram that say that they're comic book artists, so they just draw single images and don't draw books. Yeah, the creepy message people ruin it for the rest of us non-creepy people, even though maybe we are creepy. But yeah, I might send this to that, message it to her privately, send a DM, slide into her DM, so to speak. But I don't think that she's going to notice. This particular model, she's got a reality show that just started on some random channel, her and her husband, about building like a homestead off the grid. And I don't think she's going to be looking at her DMs, looking for weird artists drawing her. I know I was saying it earlier for anybody who's still listening. I was talking to Mr. D Man earlier. Like, I'm kind of glad that you guys are still. I mean, I felt kind of nervous about putting up that video I did today when I got into some of the political conversation a little bit, and I think it actually cost me 2 viewers. I saw my subscription count go down by 2. I was like, oh, all right. I mean, I didn't think I said anything crazy, but I might have peeved off some people. So I was actually kind of nervous about it, and I shouldn't be. Like, I shouldn't be nervous to just kind of say what I think, and I thought that I said everything respectfully, but Jesus. So I appreciate anybody that watches my channel or joins in, and, it means a lot to me that anybody's interested in kind of following what I do, and I appreciate it, guys.
It means comfort that feels good and
Questions. I'm worried that her legs look shorter than they should be. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I kind of agree with you. I mean, I know everyone's got their own opinions on things, but like, I don't know. I know plenty of people in my real world that we don't agree politically, but we can still be human beings and get along. Doesn't seem too hard. Yeah, that's something I tend to say. I don't get offended because to me, getting offended means you can't control your own emotions. I don't get offended. I can get frustrated or kind of mad at a statement, but offended, like, oh, that hurts my sensibilities. Like, control your emotions, it's fine. But I can certainly like an artist for doing whatever they do, even if I may not agree with them on a personal level. That's not hard. But I think I pissed off one guy, a guy who normally chimes in here, goes by the name Mooper San, like Superman except changing, so it's Mooper San. But he wrote a comment on that video, and I think he was pissed at me because I said something he didn't like, and I think he might have unsubscribed. That kind of sucks. If that was him, I don't know. Hey Mark, hey man, sorry I didn't announce this one. I just kind of turned it on just because I was doing this drawing, and I'm going to try and make a point to at least announce them when I know I'm going to do it, but on occasion I just sit down and start drawing. I'm like, oh, let's turn it on, why not? 86 of 89, dude, that's a big book. Forgive me if you've told me, are you putting that together? Is that a book you're going to put out there for people to see? Yeah, seriously, what are you working on, dude? That's a lot of work. My last one that I just printed up was 117. Took me a year to do. And my next one's going to be at least that big. So after this comic convention I'm going to this weekend, it's time to get balls deep into that book. Well, Mark, if you want, I'd showcase it on the channel. I don't know if we've had that conversation. I kind of lose track of who I've spoken with, but I'd get a copy from you and put it on the channel if you would like, you know, get some eyes on it, if that would make any difference to you, if you care one way or another. That's one of the things I like doing most is having the opportunity, since I've got a little bit of an audience. Well, hell, Mark, I'm just saying, if you would like it to be seen, I get it. I mean, it's a big deal. I had a friend of mine say it's a loaded moment when you make your first comic and you print it up and then you have it in hand, and then you want to like hand it to somebody and say, read this, and you hope that all the work and the the vision that you had in your head, it's never going to come out perfectly, but you hope you got close enough to what you wanted that it, connects with people. For real, Chuck Lee, for real. But yeah, Mark, I mean, like I'm not interested in like shitting on it. You know what I mean? I know you say it's your first thing, and you say but I mean, like I'm no professional artist. I don't work for anybody. I just do it on my own. I just happen to turn on YouTube and upload my stuff and talk about it, and um, but yeah, Mark, if you would care to have it seen, I mean, I wouldn't, I'm not here to like be like, oh, here's an indie guy. Let me see if I can find any problems with it. None of us are perfect. My stuff could be torn apart. I'm absolutely certain. But like one of my greatest fun joys from this channel is having met some guys that do indie art, and I've got one guy who put one of his own books in the mail just yesterday, I think, for that exact reason. He asked if I'd like a copy. I'm sure. Do you want me to put it on the channel? He's like, I mean, if you want. I'm like, absolutely. Mr. J Ultra, you made the same mistake. 56 pages. It went nowhere story-wise. That is hard. It's like that's a big commitment to draw a story, and then you're like, am I actually saying anything? And yeah, Mr. D, man, I kind of tend to feel the same way. I'm not afraid to speak my mind, but I also know there's some things that are politically charged, and I don't need to say certain things. I don't need to say like who I would vote for, this or not. I will say I hate the guy in charge right now. I don't know how anyone can look at the guy in charge of the country right now and he can't form a coherent sentence, and he walks off stages, and he just said something really racist recently about how, all the people that don't have diplomas are like black and brown people. You're like, whoa, what did he just say? But there I go, getting into the political, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. But then here I start talking about it. But I mean, I certainly have my own opinions, but I do mean to keep the channel more like, oh, we're all welcome here, All right, Mark, that'd be awesome, dude. Yeah, just, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. It's easy enough to contact me there. That'd be fantastic. I'd love to, Mr. J Ultra, you had a plot and drew stuff and made it up along the way. You went from brooding on a rooftop, beating up guys in an alleyway, fighting a giant monster in the city, to some brawl in a bar. Dude, you made an Extreme Studios comic. Like, story-wise, I don't think they had any brain in their heads. They just were like, strong guy, he's brooding, he's fighting, he's got a girlfriend, they're doing dirty stuff, whatever. I mean, what you just did sounds like a lot of the early Image books. And done right, like, that could actually be entertaining if it's kind of done with like a tongue-in-cheek kind of sense of humor to it. But yeah, Mark, dude, that'd be great. Just connect with me, and I would be happy to, if you are okay with it, I'll show it on the channel there. Let people look at it, and I mean, why not? People get sick of me talking about Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee. Let's throw something unique up there. Yeah, Mr. J Ultra, when's your book going to be printed up, dude? Let's see it. There you go. I just go through comic wellsprings and I print them up in 25 issue batches. You know, it's not terribly expensive for a black and white comic book. It's nice to have, you know, you can do small print runs, 25 issues, why not? And then you can just reprint as you need. Just yesterday, I sold my first I got five volumes of my book. Grabbing them right here. I've got 5 volumes, and I sold my first complete 5-volume set to somebody. I mean, I've got people that have every one. They've picked them up as they've gone along, but I had somebody buy all 5 for the first time, like yesterday, and that was kind of a fun moment for me. It is kind of hard for me to keep trying to, like, hey, buy my book, and if you want them all, I've got 5 volumes and they're $20 each. It starts getting pricey, but Mr. Caveman, I know that joke. Sofa King. Shit, I got 2 copies of volume 2. No wonder. Yeah, I know. It's fine. I've obviously long since moved past caring that I can't mass market it. You know, I print them up. Some people read them. And, you know, I don't sell them. People donate to me, so I'm not actually making money off them, right? But, I don't know. You can see, I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, kind of like this. This is book 4. This is something like 75, 80 pages, and this one was like 117 pages of story, plus a whole bunch of pinups and stuff, so it's 128 pages, so you can see the difference in the size. This one that I just did, it's the biggest one I've done by far. And I got some pinups in there from some fellow artists that hooked me up. This is a pinup from a guy that that got to know me from my YouTube channel. So that's fun. He did a drawing, and I'm like, dude, can I put that in my book? And he's like, please. So that's from a guy there. I like this one. A buddy of mine did this. It's kind of like cartoony version of them. It's kind of hard to show. And then this is another guy. He drew this. And just based on like reading my books and enjoying them, and he did a picture of one of the characters, and so that's fun to like build an audience a little bit, and then they like it, and then be able to put their prints, you know, their work in the back of the book. And then I did a credits page, like pictures, for the first time. So that's my happy ass. It's a friend of mine that wrote a short chapter in the book. This is another friend of mine that did some art modeling for me. And then my brother down here at the bottom, and a guy that helped me with the production of the book. Chuck Lee, what is a reasonable time to draw a comic page? I mean, like the industry standard norm is a page a day. But, you know, fitting that in your work schedule, you know, if you could pump out a page a week, like a good page, if you're working full time, you got family and kids and stuff like that, I think, you know, a page a week is not unreasonable. Jay yelling no. I don't know, what's no for? What did we do wrong? But yeah, this is my book 5. And can't wait to get on the last part, the final book. Anyway, that's my stuff. But yeah, having people that are willing to do some artwork. I mean, like I don't make any real money off this. I can't really afford to pay anything. You know, but people are kind of happy to kind of just join in the fun. The guy who did this pinup right here, he did that for free, but then I ended up buying the original art off him, which I have, actually. Oh, God. Yeah, I bought the original art off him. I had to have it. I love this thing so much. And it wasn't cheap, but he kind of gave me a deal on it. I just had to have it because he's he's kind of recreating a scene that happened in book 4 with these characters. And I'm like, I'm like, dude, how much you want for that? You're like, he gave me the pinup. He sent me the digital file for the pinup for the book for free. He just did it because I'm like, I had to buy it. So I purchased this and got him in a frame just yesterday. I got that one, and then this is a piece of original art that I got from this guy, Matt Triano. He's a guy that's worked in the industry. Mark, I don't know about that, dude. I mean, that would be that'd be nice if I had the opportunity to go pro. I don't know. I don't see myself being quite there. I don't know. Oh, another thing. For the first time in my life, I took a pinup out of the center of a comic book and framed it. This Mark Silvestri drawing right here. I did a video. It'll be up in a couple of days of Medieval Spawn Witchblade. And I was going through it. I'm like, I love this pinup in the middle of this book so much. And I'm like, why the fuck don't I just take it out and hang it up? I love it so much. Like, I'm never going to look through this book again, probably. So I ripped it out. And, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you got the seam in the middle of it. But, yeah. Yeah, Mark, it's economically, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what page rates actually are, but I know that there was a time when they were really bad, and then the Image Comics guys, their kind of push for everything kind of pushed the big companies to make page rates better for everybody, but I bet they've come back down because Marvel and DC can't make comics that sell, so they can't pay a lot. Oh yeah, for sure. His inner for real. Yeah. I had another guy, I posted it up on my Instagram, and another guy said exactly that. He's like, that's totally Frazetta. Yeah. I appreciate you saying that, Mark. I mean, the first book was drawn years ago. I mean, it might be more than 10 years at this point where I drew those first pages. Because I ended up doing some work for a small press company, and then my divorce ended up putting everything on pause. And so, yeah, the work in the first book is very old. But it's okay enough that I don't hate it. One of these days I'm going to reprint books 1, 2, and 3 into just one big volume with like a hollow foil cover and just do it one time. It'll be expensive, and I can go through and kind of correct all my art mistakes and redraw a page here or there that just drive me insane, and fix some spelling errors in the dialogue, and just do like a one-off, kind of reprint them as a big kind of collected book. It'll be like 200 pages or something like that. Probably be prohibitively expensive for most people, but I still want to do it. If that works. Hey Mark, if you're still in the chat, do I follow you on Instagram? Have we connected? I'm sorry, because some people use different names, and I don't know, you know, the YouTube name is different than the Instagram name, so I apologize if I know you on Instagram, but I'm not sure over here. Do you have an Instagram account that I could look up? I'm just curious. Oh. Are you the one who told me that before? Did we have a conversation about this and you were... Am I remembering that, Mark? How do you get kicked? You don't have to tell us why you were kicked off. I'm like, were you saying some mean things to people or posting drawings of titties or something like that? Well, thanks. Again, I don't know how to say your name. Xarier. Zarier? How do you pronounce your name so I don't see her fumbling over that? But I appreciate that, like, anybody's ever read this and find enjoyment out of it. I sent out 4 copies in the mail a couple days ago, and one of those guys, he messaged me today. He just got it, and he can't wait to sit down tonight and read it. So I'm like, I can't wait to hear what people think of the story I've done, you know, if they enjoy it or find it interesting or not.
I look up in
Oh wow, Mark, that sucks, man. Well, I've got it. Book 5, whenever you're ready. You know, I know how the world is, and, you know, if you got to hold on. But I've got, what do I got? 19 copies left still. No, 20 copies left. How is that not allowed to, like, to download, like, how is that not allowed? That doesn't make any, I don't get that. That's kind of weird. these social media platforms are kind of bullshit. They'll like have arbitrary kind of unspoken rules and tell you that you violated it and you didn't even know it was a rule that you were violating. You're like, oh, I didn't know. What did I do? And they won't tell you. You know, another random thing that I finished just tonight is this thing right here. Ugh, these things are such an intensive pain in the ass. And I'm trying to do likenesses. I like doing the spaceships, but I'm doing this for the comic convention. But those nerds at the Star Trek conventions, they love their Star Trek art. So I'm going to make prints of this to go with the 5 others I've done. Silvestri's signature. I'm trying to angle it up so you can see it. Silvestri. And Weems. I love Weems on inks for Silvestri. Yeah. I mean, that hot girl. I mean, does anybody draw hotter girls than Silvestri? I don't know. It's subjective, but Lord help me. Where are you watching JCVD? Oh, you're watching what is it? Double Impact? Mr. D-Man? Is that the name of that show? Yeah, likenesses are so hard. I mean, I print out a drawing and I trace the basic face shape. I cheat. I mean, some people don't like it. Some people think it's a cheat, but I kind of don't care anymore. It's so hard. Oh yeah, I do have my own colorist. That's why I hire a guy to do these. I couldn't afford to pay a colorist anyway, and I couldn't afford to print a book in color no matter what I did. That's so expensive. Book 6 I'm going to do is going to have a little bit of a naughty scene between a couple of characters. Preview for a year from now. Well, shit, I think I'm done with this drawing. I think I'm done. Like I said, I was originally going to have it be upside down, like this would be right side up, just to kind of give it that. I don't know if that would work though. I'll let the person who owns it decide. I remember that, Mr. D-Man. When I was on DeviantArt, everyone would put those watermarks. Oh, excuse my yawning. Yeah, right across the middle of it. So, yeah, to kind of mark it. DeviantArt used to be a thing. I should go log back in and see if my account's still up. It's only been like 8 years. Is DeviantArt an AI nightmare now? For real? I guess that would make sense. Oh man, don't get me started on AI art. That is not art. That stuff pisses me off. Like, I agree that some of it looks interesting for sure, but I get pissed off at people that just log into a computer and type a couple of prompts and like, I created, I'm an artist. No, you didn't. You didn't do shit. Yeah, for real. They could keep all that AI nonsense. For real, man. I might actually go log in. Replicant. Is that a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie? I've never even heard of that, Mr. D, man. I just Googled it. When was the last good Jean-Claude Van Damme movie? Bloodsport? shit, I think I'm done with this drawing, and I don't know, it might be time to jump off of here. Call it a night. Yeah. Get my own comic shop. Alright guys, well I'm going to call it a night then. Thanks for jumping on the random, you know, unannounced live stream and hanging out for a bit. It's always fun to have something to chit chat with you guys about while I sit here and doodle. I kind of get sick of listening to music, or I run out of podcasts or things on YouTube I want to watch, so it's kind of fun to just have some conversation back and forth. You guys are all awesome, and I probably won't be doing it again. I might do one tomorrow with my friend who was on with me last time, Jessica. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday are comic conventions, so I will not be doing anything those days, because I'll be burned out. But thank you everybody for hanging out, and catch you all next time.